lying down on the floor. And once you've landed on the floor, then I want you to really focus in on your breath and the flow of air that's moving through your mouth or your nostrils. Feel for lengthening both the inhale and your exhale. And then I want you to rest both of your hands on your chest. And as you breathe deeply, I want you to feel for connecting your breath to the top of your lungs and the top parts of your ribs. Not tensing your neck, just feeling like you're using the top parts of your lungs as well as the rest of your lungs. Having a sense of your breath arriving at the front of your chest and the back of your shoulders, maybe even the top of your shoulders. And as you do that, notice any tension you feel you're carrying around that area right now. Any tension on the outside or the inside. And let's stay connected to this kind of whole shoulder area, so the back of the shoulders, top of the shoulders, and kind of front of the shoulders as we go through this class today. Feeling for using the poses and your breath to help you let go of tension from around that area. Hello. Don't know if you got my message that we were inside. Yes. Oh, good. Excellent. Well, welcome. The next thing we'll do will be a lying down twist, but starting from the side, so it kind of gets more into the thoracic and the kind of upper back. If you lie on your side, a bit like this, so you're, it doesn't matter which way around you lie, to be honest, but lie on one side with your knees sort of bent up in front of you a bit, and then your arms stretched out in front. And then you'll be lifting your top arm up and then back, but not just moving in your shoulder, you'll be allowing your whole rib cage to twist as you do this. Great. Let's do this kind of, to initiate the movement, kind of twist on an exhale as you lift your arm up, take your arm back, letting your chest rotate too, letting your head just move in line with whatever's happening in the rest of your spine. Doesn't matter if your hand comes to the floor or not. It might not. Take an inhale when you're in the twist. And then when you exhale next, bring your hand back to join the other one. So you're kind of pausing with the arms closed and pausing with the arms open. So I'm noticing this twist, how it's kind of around your mid back, upper back. Not stressing out your shoulder as you're doing this. Like if anything feels uncomfortable in your shoulder, then don't go so far, or have the arm at a different angle if that feels better. Watching out for the person behind you if you're close to somebody. Okay, just do one more on this side. And the next time your hands come together, then change this all around. So you're lying on the other side, just rolling onto the other side. However that makes most sense for you, wherever you are. So again, have your knees bent up in front of you, arms straight ahead. Same thing, moving into the twist on an exhale. And then coming out of the twist on an exhale. Paying attention to the front of your shoulders, top of your shoulders, the back of your shoulders. And just one more. And then to feel how that's a different twist to like the one with the knees moving. You roll onto your back. So just stretch your arms out on the floor, have them static. And now just explore tracking your knees from side to side. Feeling how that's a movement that's affecting like lower down your spine. In this pose, feeling for just relaxing your shoulders towards the floor. So there's a broadening and widening across your collarbones and your chest. Kind of let both shoulders be slightly heavy on the floor. And pick one side to roll onto, and then roll all the way onto your side. And then from there, sit up, come into a seated position, whether you want to sit on a block or whether you want to sit on your mat. We'll do a few shoulder things. If it feels comfortable, sit cross-legged. Otherwise, sit however you need to do. You could also do this in a chair if you want to. So let's start with your left shoulder. Bring your left elbow in front of your shoulder. And then take your other hand into your armpit. And with your hand, feel the back of the armpit. Like I've kind of got my thumb in the middle of my armpit, and then I'm wrapping my fingers around the back of my armpit. So I've kind of got hold of a big chunk of muscle. It's probably like latissimus dorsi, probably. Big chunk of muscle anyway. So kind of grab hold of that big chunk of muscle, and then move your elbow around so you can sort of feel that muscle flex. And you can almost deliberately sort of switch that muscle on. The big muscle on top, and also like there's a sort of tiny thin muscle underneath called the serratus anterior, which sort of tracks closer to the bones. And that's a really good one to try and switch on. So try and get the muscles at the back of your armpit to do something. Mysterious as it sounds, it's possible. Okay, then when you have a sense of the muscles at the back of your armpit working, take your hands around your upper arm, like that, yeah. Now, if you're hypermobile, do not do this to an extreme, or if you've ever dislocated your shoulder, do not do this. However, if neither of those things apply, then just slightly pull your whole arm forwards. So like the whole arm can go forwards a bit. But so if you're hypermobile, don't do it to an extreme, and you keep reaching back with your armpit as well. Okay, now bring the spare hand onto the inside of your left elbow and press your elbow against your hand. And then we'll hang out here and breathe. Connect your breath to your whole shoulder area. Slightly lift your chest, yeah. Noticing whether you aware more of like the front of the shoulder, chest area, or back of the shoulder area, or maybe even that armpit area. Okay, great. Relax your arms and then wiggle your shoulders and notice if one feels different to the other, having done that. It's kind of a fun move to do, isn't it? Next thing I want to do, let's stay with this same shoulder. Let's just mix this up a little bit. Straighten out your right leg. Left hand on the floor, and then come into a side bend. Over to your right. Right hand on the floor. Right leg straight. Right hand on the floor, right leg straight. Left arm up in the air. Yes. Yeah. Oh dear, it's going to be one of those days. Continue to connect with your breath to your shoulder area on both sides. You can feel for sort of doing that thing that you were doing with your shoulder blade just now with this whole position. Your shoulder blade was kind of sliding forwards. Try to do that a little bit here, like slide your left shoulder blade sort of down and forwards. Your arm might move forwards as you do that, that's fine. Find out how the arm feels in that position. Make your feet a little more active, spreading your toes out, pressing your legs a little into the floor. Okay, now bring your arms down so that you've got one hand either side of your straight leg. Inhale, lift your chest up, telescope your ribs up. Exhale with your chest lifted, lean forwards as much as you can. And then let your back round and your head relax. If it doesn't feel okay in your back, having your back rounded, you could stay in that slightly higher up position. Now connect your breath to your shoulder blades and your upper back. Just relaxing that area. Letting your arms be kind of heavy and relaxed. Letting your shoulders be relaxed, but connecting to your upper back with your breath. And then slowly sit up. And come back into a cross-legged position or with your legs straight. And we'll do all those things on the other side. So starting with the armpit thing, have your right elbow in front of your right shoulder. With your left hand, place your thumb in your armpit, wrap your fingers around the back of your armpit. Hold onto the big muscle at the back of your armpit and wiggle your arm around to help you connect to that muscle and switch that muscle on. Okay. Then take your spare hand, wrap it around your biceps and triceps. If you've never dislocated your shoulder and you're not hypermobile, then slide your whole arm forwards. Reach back with your armpit as you do this. And then resist your hand and your elbow against each other. With every breath, filling up with air so much that your breath also fills the top of your lungs and helps you connect to and release tension from around your chest and shoulders. Great. Then release your arms, give them a wiggle. And now straighten out your left leg. Yeah. Left leg straight out. Left hand on the floor. Right hand in a side bend. Inhale and notice your right shoulder blade. Exhale, move your right shoulder blade down and forwards, getting a little bit of the feeling that you had when you were doing the elbow pushing thing just now. Wiggle your legs a bit, spread the toes out, press your legs down into the floor. Yeah. And if you're kind of rolling backwards here, just rock forwards on your sitting bones, lift your rib cage. Yes. Inhaling all the way to the top of your lungs. Exhale, soften any tension you notice around there. Great. Then come into a forward bend over your straight leg. One hand either side of your straight leg. Inhale, telescope your ribs up. Exhale, lean your chest towards the straight leg. And then round your back and relax your head at the end, if that feels okay in your lower back. And the opportunity here is to expand your back ribs and the back of your shoulders as your breath moves through you. And then slowly sit up from there. Straighten out both legs and do some circles with your ankles and your wrists. And then circle around the other way as well. Grand. Come onto your hands and knees now. Put something soft underneath your knees if that feels helpful. And just let's do some circles, but I want you just to feel into making these circles small or big, depending on what feels good in your hips and your shoulders. Being a little exploratory in this movement. And do some circles the other way around. You can sort it out if you want. Okay, then bring your forearms down to the floor. And just do the same thing. Just moving in some, just really circling your center of gravity. And circle the other way around. And then come into child's pose, whatever version of child's pose you'd like to do. But make sure your shoulders feel comfortable. Like, just check out for yourself, actually, whether your shoulders feel more comfortable with your arms kind of going forward or your arms next to your thighs. And then do whatever feels most comfortable in your shoulders. Okay, then ease out of that. Come onto your hands and knees. To do turbo puppy. Take your hands like a couple of inches further forward. Then bend your elbows sort of halfway down to the ground. So they're not going to be on the ground, sort of halfway down, but you're also squeezing your elbows in towards each other. Let your neck relax. And then bring your weight forwards into your hands a little more. Have your hands shoulder distance apart like you would for downward facing dog. Hands not too narrow, yeah. Do that same movement with the shoulder blades. So your shoulder blades are kind of moving out towards the sides and towards your armpits. Maybe with a sense of activating the muscles at the back of your armpits. Keep squeezing your elbows in towards each other. Yes. Yeah, that's fine. If you want more, bring more weight into your arms. Take your hands further forwards. And then even further forwards. Elbow, yeah. Yeah, do you feel something? Cool. Okay, just take a little break from that. Could everybody feel something in your somewhere? Somewhere. Oh, we'll do it again. And this time I want you to notice where you feel it. Is it arms? Is it chest? Is it shoulders? Is it armpits? Because there's a sort of potential to kind of get into all sorts of areas with this. This second time you can either do the knees down version or you can do a knees up version. If you do a knees up version, you have to work really hard to keep your elbows bent. So now it's your turn. Come back onto your hands and knees. Hands a little bit further forwards than you would normally. And then start by doing the bendy elbow thing. And maybe lift your knees up off the floor. Let your neck be really relaxed. It's not the neck muscles that's going to do this. So notice what you feel. Bring your weight forwards, Erica. Yes, that's it. So relaxing your neck muscles, but then noticing where do I feel this? Keeping the elbows bent. And you take your hands a little wider if you can. Okay, and then come out of that. Whereabouts did you notice this? Back at the back of the shoulders. And chest. And there, oh, Jackie could feel some armpits. Yay. So around elbows as well. Interesting. Lots of different things going on with that. Yeah, with the knees up is, yeah, definitely. Excellent. Kind of, it's a bit like down facing dog. You're not going too far forwards. Once you're up, you're then taking your weight back that way. Let's do it one more time. If you're fed up of this, you could do a downward facing dog instead. But we'll do one more of these. So make sure your hands start like shoulder distance apart. They're not too narrow. Maybe a little bit further forwards than usual. Bending your elbows. And then either being here with your knees down or lifting your knees up. Or doing a downward facing dog if you're fed up of these. So if you've got your knees up, you are still keeping the bend in your elbows, but bringing your weight towards into your feet as much as possible. Is anybody breathing? And breathing as well. Okay, everybody come down now. Let's give our arms a rest. We'll do some abs. Come and lie on your back. Let's do elbow to knee. I'll talk you through a simpler version of elbow to knee first. We'll do 2 rounds of that. And you could either stick with that, or you could then move on to the slightly more challenging one. Okay, so simple version starts with both feet on the floor. Head is resting in your hands. Inhale, lift your head and shoulders up. Pause, press your lower back down. Exhale, point both elbows to the left. Bring your left knee in, move your lower belly down. Inhale, foot on the floor. Head and shoulders to the middle, but they stay up. Press your lower back down. Exhaling, elbows go to the right. Right knee comes in. Lower belly moves down. Inhale, foot on the floor, head and shoulders to the middle. Press lower back down. Exhale, left foot lifts, elbows towards the knee. Inhale, foot on the floor, head to the middle. Press lower back down. Exhale, elbows right, right knee in, belly down. Inhale to the middle. If you want to continue with this version, do. If you want to do the harder version, lift both feet up off the floor. Okay, inhale all the way down to your lower back. Press your lower back down. Exhale, both elbows go left. Right leg straightens out at an angle, lower belly pulls down. Inhale, bend your knees, elbows to the middle. Press lower back down. Exhaling, elbows go right, left leg extends, lower belly moves down. Inhale, knee bends, head and shoulders to middle. Press lower back down. Exhale, elbows left, right leg extends, spread your toes out, pull your belly down. Inhale, bend your knee, head and shoulders to the middle. Press lower back down. Exhale, elbows right, left leg extends, lower belly comes down. Inhale to the middle. Do 3 more rounds. 3 more on either side. Really, as you lengthen your leg, really like spread out your toes, have your feet active. Once you've done 3 rounds, then coming down to the floor. Resting your head on the floor and your feet on the floor. Notice if any tension came into your neck or your shoulders with that. Feel for letting it go. Relaxing your jaw. Relaxing your forehead. Relaxing your neck. Relaxing the back of your tongue. Okay, next thing we'll do is frog lifting through. I'll show you this side's easier to see actually. So basically your feet are up off the up in the air, and then you take your knees and your feet out to the sides. If you want some extra support, say your lower back is feeling a bit tweaky today, you could do like I'm doing with your feet on the wall. So that is totally an option. Or you can do this with your feet off the wall if you prefer. So turn yourself around if you need to. Be about, if you're at the wall, be your sort of like lower legs distance away from the wall so that you have a right angle on your knees. Okay. So lift your feet up off the floor and then take your knees and feet out to the sides. Flex your feet. So pull your toes towards the knees. Yeah. Okay. Inhale and clasp your hands together. Rest your head in your hands. Exhale, lift your head and shoulders up off the floor. Inhale, expand your breath all the way down to your hips. Exhale, curl your tailbone up. Stretch your inner thighs to the side and pull your belly down. Inhale, just relax that action around your hips, but keep your legs where they are. Head also stays up. Exhale, curl your tailbone up. Stretch your inner thighs to the side. Belly moves down. Inhale, soften that, but keep your legs where they are. Exhale, curl your tailbone up away from the floor. Stretch your inner thighs to the side. Keep your feet flexed. Belly pulls down. Do 3 more of these on your own. To finish off with this, bring your head to the floor, then take your hands to the outside of your thighs, bring your knees together, and then bring your feet down to the floor. Let's work with bridge next. Let's do some moving bridges first. So set up your feet so they're parallel and underneath your knees. And so it feels like your hips and shoulders are even. Inhale and anchor down evenly through your feet. Exhale, press your feet into the floor and lift your hips up. It's going to come in and out of this a few times. So as you inhale, come back down to the floor. As you exhale, lifting your hips. Just playing with this at your own rate. And then next time you lift your hips, keep your hips lifted as high as feels comfortable. Stay really grounded down through all 4 corners of your feet. And then feel if you can kind of lift your chest towards your face a bit so you get a tiny bit more arch in your upper back. Using your feet to help support you, your feet, your legs. Stay here for 3 long breaths before coming down to the floor. Gently coming down to the floor if you're not already. Just feeling how it is to be flat on the floor. Again, perhaps that feeling of your shoulders dropping towards the floor, a subtle widening across your chest and your collarbones. Okay, then roll yourself onto one side. And let's sit up. Okay. Then do some standing stuff next, but let's come into a downward facing dog first, and we'll do I'll show you movement. Now I'll give you two options. If your wrists feel okay, you can do this from downward facing dog. If your wrists don't feel so good, you could do this keeping one leg down. But I'll show you first. So you'll be inhaling and taking a leg back, exhaling, bending the knee, bringing it forwards. You'll do it kind of 3 times forwards to the middle, and then 3 times to the left elbow, and then 3 times to the right elbow. The version with less pressure on the wrists is to do this from your hands and knees, where you're taking the leg back and then kind of in and forward. And then again, you can sort of take it towards each elbow as well. With this one, kind of, it is okay to go into an arch if that feels okay in your back. So let's give it a go. Come on to either onto your hands and knees or into downward facing dog. Let's do the left leg first. Inhale and lift your left leg back and up. Exhale, bend your left knee round your back. Bring your knee in and up towards your chest, so to the middle of your elbows. Inhale, leg comes back. Exhale, knee comes forwards towards the elbows. Round your back and lift up a bit. Great. Do one more. Take your knee to the middle. Okay, and then do 3, taking your knee to the left elbow, and 3, taking your knee to the right elbow. As you bring your knee forward, slightly round your back and lift your knee sort of up towards your chest. And once you finish that set of 9, then kind of come down to the floor, have a break. Feeling if you can kind of pull your knee in and up towards your chest with this. So there's a sort of rounding of the back that happens. Okay. Then we'll go to the other side. So either from your hands and knees or from downward facing dog. This time your right leg is lifting. Inhaling back. Exhaling. As you bring your knee forward, slightly round your back, lift your knee up, coming 3 times to the middle, and then 3 times to the left, 3 times to the right. And whenever you finish that round, then coming into child's pose or any other rest pose for a few breaths. And if you can use your core to pull your knee in and up. Yeah, okay. Okay, then ease up out of that and either come up to mountain pose, or you could come into downward facing dog and then come up into mountain pose. Let me check what time it is. Oh, it's 1:45. Is it really 1:45? It's really 1:45. Okay, fine. The end is in sight. I can't make you do too many more of those. Okay, fine. So let's work with we did shoulder things, haven't we? So let's work with a let's work with some three pose mini sequences with the option to either in between each sequence come into mountain pose or to do a half sun salutation, which is where you'd be doing plank and cobra and then downward facing dog. So from here, let's start off in warrior one, doing some wrist stretches. So step your left foot forward and right foot back. Setting up your legs in warrior one. Then take your right hand forwards with your palm forwards. And then we'll do some wrist stretches. So inhale, hold onto your little finger, lift your chest up. Exhale, stretch your little finger back. Staying off the edge if you're hypermobile. Inhale into the next finger along. Exhaling, stretching it back. Doing this with a full breath into each finger and then the wrist. You can spread it out, all the fingers at the same time. If you have the hand behind, then you can kind of get the best stretch. Yeah, just one at a time. Let your shoulder soften as well. Okay. All right. After that, we'll come back to the other hand later. Hopefully remember which one it is. We'll do some sideways ones though. Inhale, press your hands out to the sides. Exhale. Watch out for your neighbor. Exhale, make your hands into fists and tilt your knuckles down. Yeah, try not to do that into someone's face. Inhale, lift your chest a little bit. Exhale, keep tilting your knuckles down. What's that? Right. Inhale, spread your fingers out, palms forward. Exhale, thumb in the middle. Wrap your other fingers around to make a fist again, but this time you're tilting more to the side. Can you tilt into this kind of sidey bit of the wrist? Like there. Yeah, stretching that bit. Yeah, kind of go that. Like you're pouring out some tea or gin. No, I don't keep my teapot in a gin, honest. Don't keep my gin in a teapot, honest. All right, relax your arms. Then we'll do eagle arms. Bring your elbows up in front of you, cross your left over your right. Inhale, widening across your shoulders. Exhaling, softening any tension inside your shoulders. Release your arms and then interlace your fingers together to do humble warrior. You can either do the version with your back upright, or if it feels okay to come into a forward bend, lean forwards over your left thigh. Lift your hands a little away from the back of your hips. Inhale into the scrunchy area of your shoulders. Exhale, relax your jaw and your neck. Let your head just kind of soften forwards. Okay, release your hands. If you want to do the half sun salutation, take your hands to the floor and go through it. Otherwise, lift yourself up and step forwards into mountain pose. Connect your breath with the whole of your shoulder area, the front and the back. And then we'll come into warrior one the other way around. So this time we'll have right leg forward, left leg back. And let's do wrist stretches on your left hand first. So inhale, holding the finger. Exhale, stretching the finger back. Great. Taking yourself through the same thing on each of the fingers and then the thumb. Just one finger at a time. So you're helping to stretch out your hands from whatever you've been doing. If you can, take the other hand behind it. Yeah, can you catch the finger from behind? Yeah, one at a time. You can slightly reach forwards with the palm of your hand, with the heel of your hand. You might get more of a stretch in your arm as well. Yeah, that's good. Letting your shoulders soften. Okay, and then we'll do wrist stretches. Inhale, hands out to the sides. Exhale, make your hands into fists, and then tilt your knuckles down towards the floor. Inhale, spread your fingers out, palms forward this time. Exhale, turning your hands into fists, tilt your knuckles sideways and down to the floor. Great. Release your arms and then come into eagle arms. So this time, have your right elbow on top of your left, or the other way around to whatever you did before. Notice by default, is any breath reaching your shoulders? Or does the breath kind of get squashed out there? Can you consciously bring some breath to your shoulders? Okay, great. Release your arms and either step forward into mount. Oh no, there was one more, wasn't there? We have to do that click linky ones. So stay in warrior one, interlace your fingers together and either do humble warrior with your chest up or with your chest down, leaning towards your right knee. Lift your hands a little away from the back of your hips so you get a stretch around your shoulders. Okay, release your arms and either come into plank or stand up and come into mountain pose. Feeling your own body, not other people's, like being in your own thing, in your own experience. Okay, bring both feet down to the floor, come into mountain pose. Okay. And then turn sideways on your mat. So you're facing one of the long sides of your mat. We'll do a forward bend, but with the legs quite wide. So have your feet parallel and as wide as feels comfortable. Inhale and activate your feet. Lift the toes, spread the toes, feel both your heels and balls engage with the ground. Slightly soften your knees and then fold forward from your hips. And then just let your arms dangle or rest on the floor. If this feels not so good in your lower back, have your hands on your thighs, stay higher up. Or if you're going dizzy, let your neck and your shoulders soften. Press down equally into the inside edges of your feet as well as the outside edges of your feet. Then bring your hands up to your hips. Pull your belly in as you come up to support your lower back. And then heel toe your feet back to the middle. Make your way down onto the mat to do a twist. Now, let's do this with the left leg crossed over the right leg. You could maybe have your bottom leg sort of bent around the other way if your hips feel more flexible today. Otherwise, straighten out your right leg. It's kind of up to you which. Have your left leg crossed over the top? Yes. Yeah. Twists get very confusing. Very lefty, righty, brain crossy. Somebody gave me a new thing to do the other day. I can't remember it, but it was so left, right, crossy. I was totally confused. It was brilliant. All right. Inhale, lengthen your spine up. Exhale, take your left hand behind you. And either have your right hand on your knee or hook your right elbow over your left knee. Have both sitting bones on the ground. So that then your spine can be long and straight. Connecting your breath. Softening around your shoulders. And then unhook your elbow, untwist, and change your legs over to the opposite of whatever you're doing now. Whatever's your opposite. Find you kind of balance between your sitting bones. Lengthen up and then twist the other way. Either with your hand on your knee or your elbow hooking over the knee. Feel for whether you can rotate your rib cage around a little more. And then soften any action around your shoulders, any tension around your jaw, any gripping in your neck. Okay, unhook your elbow, uncross your legs. Give everything a shake. And then make your way down into a resting position. However you want to rest today. Whether you want to kind of cover your eyes to block the light out or put your socks on, whatever would be comfortable. Letting everything slow down. Letting everything soften. And just imagine or feel every exhale that the tops of your shoulders, or like the corners of your shoulders, drop a little towards the floor. Not that you're pushing them down, more like melting towards the floor. So any tension around your chest, just slowly ease and let go. Allowing your shoulders to relax. Progressively, breath by breath, any tightness around your shoulders is melting and softening. Whether that stays as a conscious process or whether you drop into rest and that continues as an unconscious process. Just letting go, releasing, softening and resting. Notice the feel of the air as it passes through your nose or your mouth. Notice your body and how you feel after this last session of practice. And then begin to move and stretch and ease into motion however you want to right now. And slowly come back up to sitting. Thank you for joining me for class today.